Thank you, Madam Speaker. I rise to make my contribution in relation to this, but Madam Speaker, before I get started, I just want to pick up on one point that the member for Fanny Fong Lim forgot. He forgot this over his research when he was talking about that the government is going to regulate the gas industry. Madam Speaker, the gas industry is going to regulate the gas industry because the gas industry are big companies and they have got an environmental licence, a social licence to look after the environment, to look after their workers, because they know that if there is an environmental issue, they will be held to account, not only by the government, Madam Speaker, but also their investors. Their investors are looking for industry and companies that are going to have a well-managed corporate structure, that are going to look after the environment and, of course, to make money. Madam Speaker, we know that the gas industry is a global industry. It doesn't only occur in the Northern Territory. In fact, it occurs right across Australia and right across the globe. So, Madam Speaker, the investors who invest in this industry are looking for investment right across the globe. So we are in a competitive global market and, Madam Speaker, I've been out to the Beetaloo. I've spoken to general managers and major investors in the gas and mining industry, and they all raise the same thing with me. They all care about the environment. They want to make sure that their industry moves forward, looking after the environment, looking after their assets, because, Madam Speaker, I'm not sure if you've seen a fracking fleet, but oh my God, it is a lot. And there is a lot of money involved and a lot of technology involved in that fleet. So, Madam Speaker, the industry itself looks after itself. Madam Speaker, the CLP were elected on a three-pillar platform, which is about safety, about rebuilding the economy, and also about lifestyle. And, Madam Speaker, we know the environment is part of lifestyle. So, Madam Speaker, how could you even have any sort of lifestyle and restore it back to what it was or back to what Territorians enjoy without an environment? So we know that it is critical to ensure that the environment is looked after, protected, and in fact advanced. We also know, Madam Speaker, that it's critical to rebuild our economy from the state that the Labor government left it in. Madam Speaker, again, the member Fong Lim spoke about the disaster the Labor government have done. $11 billion worth of debt. I think, Madam Speaker, in just 8 short years, it went from about 1.8 up to 11. So it's almost $1 billion a year overspending. It's $1,000 million. So, Madam Speaker, we need to get that balance right, because, Madam Speaker, it's no point having a great family and a great lifestyle if you can't afford to use it, if you can't afford to live here. There's no jobs here to be able to do that. And, Madam Speaker, most importantly, a part of lifestyle is that if someone gets sick, you need to be able to go to the health system. You need to be able to go, if there's an emergency, and the ambulance will come over and grab you. And I think I got into trouble calling them meat wagon previously, but they do a good job. I think we've all been in. I've certainly been in the ambulance. So the question is, Madam Speaker, who pays for that? Madam Speaker, do you think, and this is where the opposition and the member for Nightcliff may come unstuck in their argument that we're just money hungry and it's all about gas. The gas industry gives us jobs. The gas industry gives us a health system. The gas industry gives us an education system. The gas industry pays for the police. In fact, Madam Speaker, the gas industry pays for rents and mortgages, and I'm sure the member for Nightcliff knows, because her family benefited from the gas industry. It paid the rent or the mortgage for her. So it's a flow-on effect, Madam Speaker. And I want to go back to what I originally said. The gas industry are going to manage the environment, and they need some help, and they need compliance. They need to make sure that their people aren't doing the wrong thing, because it's all about costs and it's all about those investors. You need to make sure that we get the return on investment okay. And that's where the government can step in, and there's a whole list of regulators that have been spoken about, and they do their job. They go out and inspect. They go out and make sure that people in industry are doing the right thing, because we want to make sure that the environment is protected. Madam Speaker, the use of the Territory's natural resources for development, agriculture, mining, energy, is certainly a key part of rebuilding our economy. The CLP will work with industry to ensure I thought there might have been an emergency.
We're just trying to assist someone to come into the chamber to participate tonight.
Okay, perfect. Sorry, I'll press on. Madam Speaker, the CLP will work with industry to ensure we have the right policy settings to attract investment, deliver on projects, rebuild the economy for Territorians, and, of course, protect the environment. Like I said, Madam Speaker, it's no point having a great lifestyle and a good environment. We need to make sure that we have a job and we have an industry, so we need to get that balance right, Madam Speaker, and we need to get those policy settings to ensure that we can afford to enjoy our lifestyle and we can afford to live. I think the member for Lightcliffe said that people over this side have a silver spoon and grew up with a silver spoon. Well, Madam Speaker, I can assure the member for Lightcliffe I did not grow up with a silver spoon in my mouth. I asked her to come and live in the rural area some 50 years ago and see what it was like. There wasn't just a quick slip into Palmerston to get McDonald's, I can assure you of that. Everything had to be planned for. I myself grew up with a single income family, and my mum looked after my brother and I. My dad worked as a police officer on a government wage, and he worked hard and he was away. So when the member for Lightcliffe talks about people over here with a silver spoon, I can assure you it's not me, and I know most of my colleagues over here are similar. So when she assumes that everyone over here is growing up with a silver spoon, she is wrong, completely wrong. And I know the member for Berkeley, he did his education as an adult. He paid every cent for his education. I got my law degree, Madam Speaker, as a mature age student. I paid for that as well. So it just assumes, and it goes with what the member for Fong Lim talks about. You can go and you can make these motherhood statements, but there's no evidence to back that up. There's no evidence about how the environment is going to be destroyed by the gas industry. In fact, the evidence is quite the contrary. It is there that the industry want to do the right thing because they need to attract in investors. Madam Speaker, I've spoken a little bit about mining. I want to speak a little bit about agriculture. We have a pastoral land board, Madam Speaker. The board plays a vital role in supporting the pastoral industry as a consent authority for pastoral land clearing and also non-pastoral applications. Madam Speaker, since 2014, on average, the board has issued 10 clearing permits and granted 22 non-pastoral permits. Madam Speaker, they take their role seriously, and I think the Environment Minister said only 1% of land in Northern Territory has been cleared. So this is only talking a very small area of the Northern Territory that has actually been cleared. So, Madam Speaker, you'd put one and one together that the Pastoral Land Board has done the right thing because the Territory is relatively a natural place. Madam Speaker, we know we've had cleared some land because we're living in urban areas which have been cleared. We've had roads which have been cleared. Madam Speaker, I've been to Beetaloo, like I said, and the drilling pad in the area for mining is quite small. Perhaps say if I've got a 5-acre block, I'd imagine it would be smaller than my 5-acre block. So, Madam Speaker, when you talk about this monster industry that's going to dig up everything and destroy the environment, my assessment is that clearly wrong, and it just goes to a political agenda to try and feed out misinformation and make motherhood statements about an industry clearly they don't know about. They haven't done the research like the Oxford scholar over here has. And I invite them to come and talk to people like the member for Fong Lim, because he's got the research, he's got the information there, and that's what it's about. It's about doing this correctly, getting it right. So, Madam Speaker, that's why we're not going to rush and do things, and that's why the Territory Coordinator has been out for comment. Now it's out for public comment. It's going to be introduced early next year, and then it's going to go to the scrutiny committee. So, Madam Speaker, I don't think you could get any more legislation that has been publicly put out there than this piece of legislation, noting, Madam Speaker, that the previous Labor government scrapped the scrutiny committee in their term. They got rid of it. So when they say, oh, we're hiding anything in secret documents, the previous Labor government scrapped the scrutiny committee. We brought it back. We put it back in because we know that the public need to be consulted, and that's probably one of the reasons why the Labor government have been reduced to 4, because they didn't listen. They didn't consult. They thought that they knew what was best. So, Madam Speaker, again, the agriculture industry, the mining industry are there because they create this world where you can go and you can have a car, you can have an air conditioner, you can buy a suit, you can walk down, you can have an electric vehicle, Madam Speaker. All that information and all that technology and all that material comes from the ground. In fact, Madam Speaker, I've got a couple of books up from my office, 30 Things it's called. It's about day-to-day items of where they come from and what minerals are mined to be able to produce that. And you'd be surprised, Madam Speaker, I've read through it, and I'm certainly no scientist, but I was pretty amazed of what happens. Everything is based on mining, and if you want to go and live in a green world, I suggest that you take all your clothes off, and you, I think there's a TV show, Naked and Afraid, that you get dumped out in the bush and you see how you go. From my experience of being out in the bush, and I've been out a fair bit, it would be very difficult. Because living without what we call the mod cons is a very difficult thing to do. So I really agree to disagree with the member for Nightcliff that the gas industry and the mining industry are all these horrid beasts that are out there just to chew and spew and take things and go. They sponsor various organisations. They sponsor sporting clubs. They spend money on community events. That's what you see these organisations, they've got a social licence. They come and they support the territory. Madam Speaker, the industry needs support. If I go back to the Pastoral Land Board, it monitors the pastoral real estate, tracking changes in land condition and the environment. Again, another check and balance to make sure things don't go overboard. And again, we've only got 1% of the economy, of the land that's cleared. This organisation is there, and this is what the government's about: is having these checks and balances, but allowing business to go and do what they want to do. Madam Speaker, I know when I was in private enterprise, we wanted to stay within the law, but we wanted to stay away from the government. We just wanted to get on and get things going and move forward. So we need to support these actions of the board and the agricultural industry, because they take care of the land. Madam Speaker, if you have done any farming, and I've done a little bit of farming myself as well, I've driven bulldozers, I've driven monster tractors with big pieces of machinery, very expensive, but very accurate. Madam Speaker, I've towed an instrument called a Kelly chain, which is 12 metres and looks like a big diamond, and you can effectively go down to 2 centimetres in accuracy with the GPS coordinates on these huge tractors. And they basically, you sit in it and you turn around and you get it going and you push set, and it follows its path because it makes sure that the land is looked after, the plough is not too deep. And let me tell you, Madam Speaker, there is a lot of work done in relation to getting a land ready for seed, because you've got to get the erosion right. Because again, if you're going to do 1,000 acres, there's a lot of seed that gets washed away. And those farmers, if there's an erosion goes through, they go and fix it, because they know if they let it get worse or don't plant it at the very beginning, it's going to impact their income. It goes back to those investors. They will go somewhere else. So we need to make sure that our environment is protected, because we want to be able to have a place to go and enjoy the lifestyle. And the CLP have been elected to restore our lifestyle, and that includes the environment. Madam Speaker, the government grants some economic carbon rights to support carbon farming on pastoral land. So we're not only about digging up and digging out the minerals, we talk about what can we do to do carbon, how can we implement effectively benefits to territory producers for carbon and carbon farming. Can we do things better? Can we burn some savanna early so there's carbon? Is there any training, is there any expertise available for that sustainable land management? We talk about that because I know right now in the gas and over Santos they're talking about carbon capture and storage, where they're going to utilise a previous gas well that's been emptied into that. So, Madam Speaker, I know I've got a few minutes to go, but I have nothing further to say. Thank you.